before I started this haircut, I analyzed her texture. I saw how much bounce it had. I saw how hydrated it was. In her situation, we're definitely gonna get her some products. I'm actually gonna recommend her the leave-in repair from the new Naked line that we have. And then I'm gonna recommend her the hydrating shampoo, conditioner, and the mask. And then I'm gonna recommend that she does the mask every other wash for a month, and after that, every 2 washes. Because she really needs to hydrate her hair. You can't tell right now because I really smoothed it out, smoothed the cuticle out. She was blonde underneath this. What I did with her color was the 556 with 66. So 556 for the depth. She had some blonde in there. If I would have just thrown 66 over there, this would have been super bright red, the blonde. So the 556 gave it the depth. With the haircut that I'm gonna do is gonna be like a modern version of the Shag. How many of you guys know Ashley Norman? Anybody? Cool. That's awesome. So that's my mentor. I work with her, I educate with her. If you've ever taken one of her classes, this is gonna be super similar. This is a little bit close to what she does with the razor. I'm gonna do it with the shear, and then I'm gonna give it more of a glam twist. So check this out. So what I did was I came straight from the round of the hair, round of the head, okay? Top of the head, right where it starts to round. I take my section all the way to the high recession, right at the peak. That's gonna be my section. Within that section, I'm gonna take a small triangle right in front. That's gonna drop straight down. That's gonna determine my length. The reason why that determined my length was because I do want it to have a bit more of a curtain fringe. However, with the bounce that we're gonna start getting in her hair once she starts to hydrate, that's gonna come up a bit. So then this will look good straight, it'll look good curly. Creating a petal right there already is gonna give that a whole new look compared to what we have over there, right? Look at that already. So I'm gonna show you how I cut that. So the first part, the inner triangle here at the front, that's gonna get cut straight down. The effect that I wanna create with my shear is a razor effect with my shear, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that, my next section, diagonal back, over direct everything right here. I'm gonna find my guide, I'm gonna let it drop out, see where it dropped out, create elevation, tension, keep your posture proper, and I'm gonna swoop in and out with my shear, okay? What that's doing is creating peaks and valleys, like a razor, right? So then that's gonna make it super soft. I'm gonna hold it flat, good tension, over directed as well. I'm gonna come right here at the mid part of my whole section, and I'm just gonna slide cut down, okay? Moving my thumb, you guys see how I'm moving my thumb? I'm not tearing the hair. If you hear, you're tearing the hair, okay? So what is that doing now? What did I create? Volume. Why? Because short push is long. So I created a petal right here. So now, whenever she styles that and it starts to come forward, look at that. You got those short pieces right there already pushing the hair up. Usually right here, what I would be doing is I would be grabbing my sections in the same way that I've been cutting them, and I would come in and I would thin these little sections because it can be really thick, right? So then you'd have little texture, you put the texture spray in there and you'd have the texture lifting up. However, in her situation, she does have a lot of hair, but up here, it's a little thinner, and that can be the case with a lot of people. It's actually the case with me. That's why I'm wearing a hat. I'm actually completely bald under this hat. No, I'm just kidding, I'm not. But I feel like I'm getting there. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a vertical section straight down like this, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take another section, a piece of the one that I just cut. However, my guide isn't the guide that I used to cut here from short to long. My guide is now the back piece that I cut. When I slid cut, those pieces that are pushing the hair up, that's now my guide. So I'm actually creating a disconnection within the hair, okay? However though, I am gonna cut that over directed to the front. Okay, now I'm not going across, now I'm going to the front. I'm gonna let that guide fall. So that's my shortest piece right there, okay? Then I'm gonna come in, and that's gonna be where I cut. So notice how I'm not moving with the hair. Notice how I'm not coming down or like slide cutting, right? The over direction, that's what that's doing right there. So I haven't cut this section yet. So look at this, heavy, right? Doesn't have shape yet, but this side's already there. So we have layers coming in, it's connected. You got layers, textures, direction, movement. You know how people with thin hair, they're like, oh, I can't get volume, my hair's super flat. A way to get volume is to remove that weight that sits down there with that length. So once you remove that, she's gonna have a bunch of volume. This is how you cut that, all right? So I have it all tucked in right from the high recession all the way back to the start of the round of the crown. That's gonna be your section, okay? I have my fringe on top. The side bits right here are tucked behind. So you don't gotta worry about creating a hole right here in the front. You're not gonna cut that off. That's already clipped behind. So work with clean sections so that you protect the hair. I'm gonna leave the length right over there, nice and safe. Then I'm gonna come and I'm gonna work straight forward, over directed forward. You see how that connects to the fringe right there? The shorter parts already fell out, so I know I'm not gonna cut the fringe. Bringing the shear this way. Notice how I'm not taking huge sections, and I know I'm not gonna damage the hair this way. So like when this is styled, all that texture is gonna come out, but it's gonna fall like really, really soft. Even here right now, you see that? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take another section diagonal back, and I'm gonna work that way all the way to the back. If this is super uncomfortable, you can also do this. Bring it forward, let that fall out, and then with my shear, like this, proper elevation, I'm just gonna cut this way. And I'm just gonna come in with my thumb only. What I have here is everything I haven't cut. So what do I have? A bunch of hair, a lot of thickness. First section that I took was from the front of the ear, okay? So that's how I know all this is not gonna get touched. Why? Because this is what's gonna determine my length, okay? And that's in front of the ear. If it was behind the ear and that was gonna determine my length, I might have created a hole already. But because it's in front of the ear, I'm not creating any holes or anything like that, right? So now what I'm gonna do is create a whole new shape. It's gonna be completely disconnected from everything that we just did. I'm just gonna take a vertical section this way. I'm gonna bring it straight up and determine my length. Okay, you see that fall right there? That's cool, that's cool. So now I can determine my length right here. I think that's pretty good. That's literally how you do it, you know? You can always cut more. What you can't do is cut less. And if you put more hair in there, you gotta charge it. Okay, so I just slid cut that. And it's not my definitive guide, you know? I just wanna see it. If I gotta get more aggressive with it, then I'll get more aggressive with it, okay? So far though, I like it. But the one thing you gotta pay attention to is the angle that you're taking right now. Because that's gonna be the angle that you have to take for the whole cut. If you decide to take a more drastic approach to it, then you can kind of go in there and do like more of an old school long layer, right? Boom. Okay, now this is gonna be almost the last thing that I do to this cut, because now everything is gonna be vertical sections over directed to this guy. The reason why it's gonna be over directed is because I want all the movement coming forward. On top, all the movement is coming back because I over directed it forward. So I created round layers. Underneath, I'm gonna create squared layers moving forward. So then that's gonna give you the shag look. If I did round layers back here, then I would create a mullet. Keep the head down, take smaller sections. You don't wanna rush this part. You already put in all the hard work. You don't wanna ruin it by rushing the easy work, right? So guys, even though I really want to texture these ends right here, why shouldn't I? It's wavy. So if I was to really get these all stringy, when they would wave up, it would just be super stringy. So just leave that harder perimeter around that. So look, those layers don't even make it all the way down. I'm gonna grab that section here in the front, swing some of this hair forward, and just connect that right there.